I spent over 30 hours already in Forza Motorsport and I learned quite a couple of things I wish I knew earlier. So if you're just starting out, listen to those 7 tips and tricks that will hopefully make you smarter and faster in Forza. Directly, tip number 1 is a crucial one because Forza often gives you a choice on which car to pick for a Builders Cup series, and this choice will make a world's difference in terms of difficulty levels. You see, before you blind pick the one that suits you best, go back into the main menu and then have a look at the power levels of the different cars first. The higher, the better, and that way you can tell already which car will be the easiest to win with and which of the bunch will give you the hardest time. Also, you can press this button, more details in the bottom here, to see the powertrain layout. That will give you heavy implications what driving characteristics you can expect from this vehicle. There's rear wheel drive, RWD, which is generally speaking harder to control but more reactive to inputs. There's front wheel drive, FWD, which is easy to drive but will throw loads of understeer your way. And then there's of course all-wheel drive, which will provide the most traction but can be stubborn in changing directions. When you are unsure which one to choose, Forza is also giving us the possibility to test drive a car before we decide. To do that, we head over to Race, Free Play and then Quick Event and click on Buy or Rent Cars here. Now you can choose the car you want to test by pressing Rent here in the middle. The only real downside to renting a car is that you won't level it for the future and can't unlock new car parts. But for testing, this is absolutely perfect. Alright, now that we are in a race session in the career mode, we can talk about our second tip, skipping laps. In the beginning, I would highly advise using the training sessions to learn the ins and outs of every track and to get accustomed to your car before the race. But after some time, the 3 training laps are more of a chore than really helpful. But did you know that you can actually skip the entire practice session with one click? Just press the pause button on track, press exit, and you can skip the practice. Neat. One feature I almost like more is the skip lap one, and I will bundle it together with the skip practice as one tip so you get more for your money. Maybe leave a like as a compensation. And also don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for mobile notifications so you'll never miss any of our new uploads. But back to Forza and the skip lap feature. While racing in a multiplayer session, the game gives you the option to participate in the quali. There, when you mess up a lap, you can press the pause button again and then press skip lap. This will remove one of your quali attempts, yes, but it will start a fresh flyer for you so you don't have to do a full lap again before you can start your next attempt. A neat feature that really can save you some time, especially as there's no overtime in multiplayer. There's overtime, right? There's no overtime. For my third tip, I'll show you some ways how you can learn the tracks more easily. Firstly, you can see a section score pop up in training after completing a set of corners. This indicator really can help learning the ideal line and will show you where on track you can still improve. Just aim for a 10 out of 10, and if you can't achieve that, maybe take the corner a little bit different next time. A much better helper than the racing line in my eyes, as you are actually focusing on the track instead of just following a line and not thinking for yourself. But there's one driving aid that can actually make even fully fledged sim racers do better, and that's the track limit indicator. You can find it under Settings, Driving Assists, Track Limits. This will indicate you where the actual track limits lie and where you can cut corners. You see, your job is to keep 2 tires within the shown lines at all times, so having the track limits activated while learning a track can really help you understand where you can cut a little bit of the track and shave off valuable lap time. Next, we need to talk about strategy. In career mode races, there's always just a couple of laps to race, which is why we should always lower the fuel load and opt for the softest tire compound available. This little indicator here even tells you how many laps your fuel will last, so you can't really do anything wrong here. In multiplayer, things get a bit more difficult. Not with the fuel load, of course, here the same principles apply. Opt for softs and 4 laps of fuel for the quali, and as much as needed for the race. But when it comes to tire compounds, the real strategy battle begins. You see, your strategy depends on the race type. In the multiplayer menu, you can see the race length displayed here as short, medium, etc. This will determine which tire strat is the best. On short races, one set of mediums is enough to finish the race. This will give you decent traction until the end, and the medium will only fall off a little at the end of the last lap. One set of softs, or even changing from soft to soft, will cost you too much time and is not recommended. In medium races this changes. I tested so many different strategies, from medium to soft, medium soft, hards only, hards to soft, and I have to say, all of them work. I would even say there's not one perfect strategy out there, and it really depends on your driving style and what you're looking for. Of course, triple softs is the most fun, because you're always pushing to the limit and will have the most amount of grip at all times. But it will need you to overtake quite a lot, which can be challenging. Hards only will give you loads of free air to drive at your own pace when everyone is heading into the pits, but the last 2 to 3 laps are such a pain with no grip at all that it's almost not worth it, and you will lose some positions in those last laps. Medium to medium is a safe bet. Decent pace, little drop off. And then there's hards to soft or medium to soft, which are both totally possible and can be a game changer when you run softs at the end of the race while everyone else is struggling with grip. So choose wisely.
He chose poorly.
Tip number 5, and this one is about the perfect race start. In Forza, the game will automatically put you in first gear, and an early start is not possible. You just wait until the clock counts down and then you start driving. In my testing, the best way of launching any car from the line is with as little wheel spin as possible. With traction control on Sport, I found some success hitting the accelerator when you see the number 1 on screen. But without any TC, it's all about throttle control, so don't overdo it. Tip 6 is about tuning car parts in the career mode. Did you know that you can actually skip the whole process of finding the right car parts for the car points available? You can just press Quick Upgrade here, and the game will automatically install the best parts available, which in 99% of the time is sufficient. The only update you always should have an eye on are the car's tire compounds, especially in the Builders Cup, where you race a lot of street cars with street tires, and a pair of race tires, or in other words slicks, can make such a big difference. Usually you unlock the race tires at level 12, so when you reach that point, have an eye out for that. And my final tip for today is to learn how to do car setups in Forza, because the default setups in this game are often a joke really. They make stable driving almost impossible. And I know that having a look at the tuning menu alone can trigger some anxiety in the hearts of newcomers, but trust me, it's totally worth it to learn the ins and outs of vehicle setups. And to make this as easy as possible for you guys, I created a Forza setup Bible just the other week. A video where you get every slider explained, all the info you need to learn how to set up a car right, and a few early tricks I learned how the physics in Forza work. You can find the video now attached, but that's it from me today. Thank you so much for tuning in and see you next time around. Cheers!